Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. And if you don't know who this is Sean Mons. And recently I got back into two-gun, and I wanted to start kind of incorporating some firearms related stuff. Well, this is the first two-gun match I've ever been to, and I want to take my rifle and some of my work gear that I'm issued as right now. So I got my level 3 vest on, my duty belt. The only thing that's mine are the AR-15 and the pistol. I'm running a Franken build AR-15 and a CZ P10C, and this is stage 6, so let's get started. This is a zombie match, so each target's only required to have one shot in the head, but you'll see me sporadically throw some rounds in there, and the activator didn't work there, so I just moved on, kept moving, and then I saw it there on the ground, so I decided to whack that. Now, we get to the long distance targets. I think this is 220 and 300, and or 250 and 300. And I had never shot at this distance before, so I wasn't quite sure my holds or anything. I have a 100-yard zero, and you can see I whacked it there once. And this is me not letting my sights settle. And then I will eventually get it again here. Right there, it looks like. And then we move on to the 300. Now I nicked the first time. There we go. There's that nick. I don't think the RO saw it, so I kept on trying. And then I would eventually get it again, maybe one or two shots later. Again, this is one at 300. First time ever shooting that to this distance. And there we go again. From here, you unload, show clear. All right. And you go over to the pistols. Now you can see my lights on, and this is a problem I had throughout the entire match. I would inadvertently ND that light, so I'm either going to have to get rid of the tape switch or find a new home for it, because with my grip I kept inadvertently whacking it or the like. The pistols, there's 2 shots on each steel, and unfortunately I didn't really clean up like I thought I would. I'm normally a really good pistol shooter, but today was definitely far from my best, to say the very least, which is unfortunate. Alright, going on to stage 1 here. Alright, this is all pretty much close range, and again, it's all just single head targets. I'm trying to keep moving throughout these so I can actually engage and get a little bit better time. You're always going to get a better time if you can just keep moving, even if it's at a slower pace, because you're not having to make up ground, reset, and keep going. I'm a good enough shooter that I know that I can normally just keep it moving. And again, I missed the target there on accident, which sucks. I'm also going with the philosophy of anything worth shooting is worth shooting again. We get to these pistol targets, and for whatever reason, I abandoned the idea of just keep moving. And I kept trying to shoot through these branches. And unfortunately, these branches kept just pushing my bullets out of the way. So, move past, get on to the targets here. And I'm going to go ahead and apologize right now for the camera work. My guy filming didn't quite understand that I want him to film me, not necessarily the targets. But it's, it is what it is. Get in there, I don't know why I did that kind of reload where I just moved it out to the side. I need to fix that. Again, it's been a while since I've actually competed and actually done anything at a high level. I used to be a pretty decent USPSA player. There's also a target right behind these barrels, and for whatever reason, I just kept whacking the side of the barrels there. Moving on to stage 2. Again, this is a closer ranged target, and you're walking down, and I'm trying to just keep ambushing these targets as I see them. All right, and putting a couple rounds in there when and whenever I can. You'll actually see me come up and forget a target to the left. I go unload, show clear. The RO thankfully was like, hey, the guy to the left, and my dyslexic ass couldn't figure out what left was. So I put 3 rounds into him. No issue. Now it's time for targets. If you're wondering why my gun is that color, it's because rattle can is the best, and I rattle can everything. All right. I should have started progressing forward on these. All right. And I also should have probably done a tactical reload on these, so I didn't have to reload during once I got over here. So, but I was able to put these generally on target where I needed to. I slowed down a bit to do that. All right, stage 3. Yeah, stage 3 now. All right, you start with 8 rounds in the magazine, and you have your reloads on the table, and there's a table on the inside too. And again, sorry for the shoddy camera work here, but I engaged these 2 that you can see right here, maybe these 3. I spun and hit the 4th one that's off to my left. All right, because I could see that one without moving from the table, and I can get a quicker reload. Came over here, gave these all a little bit of love, and kept it going. Went back over there, get that last one. Came here, almost forgot my magazine. So went up, loaded it, put it on in. You had to climb up here, and again, all headshots if you can. Now, believe it or not, it got really difficult to actually see these targets against the brown background. You wouldn't think so, but especially up there with the way the sun was, it was actually quite difficult. I had to switch over to shoulders here so I can get a better angle. I didn't want to fall off, so here we go. I ended up missing the one to the left over there just completely because I was being too conservative. All right. A little bit of a late start on this one. Stage 4, I'm sorry. And cleaning up pistols. I shot the further ones a little sooner because it's easier to start slow and speed up than slow down. Came over here, and these targets were rough. Not these ones right here, but the ones way out here. These were exceptionally rough. They were, let me see, I think the closest one, which is 16 right there. My cameraman's going to mess up a bunch because he's not going to know which one I'm shooting at. 16 right here, I think, is at 150 yards, which is not bad. 17 right there, I think, was at 250. Yeah, cameraman's looking around 18 right there. I think it was at 4 or 350, something like that. Because the furthest one out here was 19, and 19 was a double target, and those were at 462. And I just remember there being a pain. And again, I'm trying to lob these in, but again, I'm not really sure about my holds. So I'm trying to get them in. There's also I don't know if you can tell by the trees back there and everything in the foreground as well. We have a wildly harsh wind coming in. And I want to start by saying that the 3x magnifier that I had actually was doing really well. I was able to see these targets pretty crisply. I could even see my impacts for the most part. However, my dots wasn't exactly the best. I was getting a lot of starbursting off of it, especially once I was behind the magnifier, and it became exceptionally difficult to tell where on my dot I was using. But you can hear them possibly in the back saying left, right, up, down, hold 9 yards. You're going to get 2 rounds on each target, which was really fun. All right, and then we're moving over to 18, I believe, here soon. Yeah, I believe I'm at 18 now. There we go. That's 19. Nope, 18's right there in the foreground. And I am, again, just lobbing targets, and I'm having a hell of a time trying to get these targets. 18, again, is, I believe, at 400 yards, something like that. It's at a distance that I really wasn't super familiar with. 18 was also fairly difficult to see. And again, my cameraman here is not really sure where I'm... Oh, no, I'm still on 17. Disregard. My bad on that, guys. I don't have the audio playing while I'm narrating this, so you may hear some silly stuff from me. We're on to 18, and now again you'll be able to see the arc of my bullet come in and whack. And these were heavily grassed, so sometimes making calls was very difficult. You can see that one was kind of off to the right. That one just off to the left. And the unfortunate part is I definitely can't blame the rifle for this. This rifle with the ammo I was using will easily give me 2-inch groups, which may not sound super accurate, but for the distance we're shooting and the size targets we're shooting, it was more than acceptable. I believe now we're shooting out to 19, and eventually I just gave up on this stage. I'd run out of time, and I just wasn't willing to waste the ammunition on these things. Yeah, you can just see the little splashes, little pathetic splashes out on the back. We're on to my last stage for the day, and this one I did my best to actually clean up my bad habits there. Again, trying to work from right to left. Oh no, I lied, left to right. And then you'll see me have the peace of mind to actually do a speed reload in the middle here. They didn't have a rule against retaining mags, so I just did what I could and kept it going. Kept running. Open division. Because I didn't know quite the rules and whatnot, I just wanted to come out with my kit and see how I could do. Load up. All right, first target there is at 165 yards. And my cameraman is actually going to abandon looking at the targets for the most part and just follow me. So you had to use this tank track in order to engage. And another thing I was realizing is I was getting a lot of quote-unquote scope shadow off my magnifier when I had put it up. This one's at 220. The number two target's at 220. It's actually quite difficult to see. I put the magnifier up, and I was getting a lot of scope shadow off this, and for whatever reason, I could not figure out why. Also, at some point, something has happened to my red dot, and I was shooting. Well, the rounds were impacting super high, even at distance, so I was not sure what was going on. So I was aiming a little bit lower for a lot of these. But I came to find out somebody wanted to look at my rifle, and I said, oh, yeah, go ahead. And they had adjusted the stock, and I completely forgot about it. So now my stock's all the way out, and I can't get behind this magnifier the way I want to. I'm just getting a bunch of scope shadow one way or the other. So these are one round on target. That one at 4 right there was, I think, 3 was at 330, 4 was at 4, and then this one's at the grand old 500. So I can see it in the optic, but again, I have no idea where I'm plinking at, especially now that I know my optic's a little weird. And they're calling it and whatnot, and eventually, well, believe it or not, I didn't quite get there, but it was about to become accuracy through volume.